Welcome back, guys. Let me say something that might mess with you a little. If you've ever felt stuck, if you ever started something and didn't finish, if you know what to do but still don't do it, it's probably not discipline. It's not motivation. It's definitely not because you're broken. You're just running the wrong mental program. And today I'm sitting down with my personal coach, Jeffery Combmes. He's going to explain to you why that is. Jeffery, if you don't know, is an international recognized trainer, speaker, coach, and author who spent decades, multiple decades, helping people create breakthroughs, not just hype, not motivation bursts that just last for a minute. They actually change in how they think, lead, and perform. His work spans through personal breakthrough coaching, leadership, effective prospecting, prosperity consciousness, and deep mindset training. And the reason his clients get results is simple because he works at a level where behavior actually changes. Since 1998, Jeffery has personally worked with over 10,000 clients, probably way more than that now, logged in over 100,000 hours of one-on-one coaching. He's been featured on all the major networks, breaking down how people can understand why they do what they do and how to change it. Because once you understand the why, everything else gets easier. And that's why business owners, leaders, and high performers seek him out, not to be told what to do, but to remove those internal limits and keep them keep repeating the same patterns and have it actually create a clear path. So this is a great time to talk about this. So let's get right into it. Let's bring up Jeffery Combmes.
Stacia, how are you this afternoon? Aloha.
Aloha. Jeffery, you've worked with thousands of people. Now, what do most people completely misunderstand about their own mind and why change feels so hard?
Well, thank you. And it's an honor to be here with you. And our connection spans many years. We go back to 2008 when you were a young real estate investor back in the day. And I remember very well meeting you in Seattle, Washington back in the day. And you've seen me speak many, many times. I've also had you share at my events. You've been a keynote speaker at one of my intimate events, Millionaire Blueprint. So it's truly an honor to be on this interview with you this afternoon. Yes. So the question is, go ahead and ask me the question again, will you?
What do most people completely misunderstand about their own mind and why change feels so hard?
Well, the reason that many people struggle is it's not that change is hard, is that people don't really know what to change. And so they've read a lot of books, they've gone to events, rallies, conventions, seminars, workshops, podcasts, they've watched a lot of content. What very few people understand is how to let go. Letting go is the separation between the feelings, the facts, and the events that shape the unconscious. So the unconscious drives most people's reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system is the emotional engine that searches for a feeling. And the reticular activating doesn't search for, the reticular activating system doesn't search for truth. It searches for what's familiar and what's consistent. And so many people's program is run by 4 different levels of trauma: sexual, physical, emotional, and generational. Any one or a combination of those 2, 3, or 4 traumas. And if you don't understand how to let go, you'll just keep recreating the same situation to fulfill the same feelings.
This is huge, as people think that they're just failing due to the lack of push or willpower. Well, yeah. What do you think that people need to do next?
Well, if you seek change, it's a process, and it's the process in creating change is the first place to change is to accept. So you accept in courage. You have the courage to look at yourself in rigorous honesty and look at your character defects. I coached a young man this morning, and he sets his alarm for 5:30, but he gets up at 9 o'clock. So that means he's the last child of 6, and so he runs on a different set of programs, and then he's chronically behind. And so he can read a book the night before, he can set his alarm, but if he doesn't change his behavior, then he'll continue to operate at a level where he's always behind. And so that always behind, he gets a neurochemical high from that reaction to the neurochemical of adrenaline and cortisol. And that's so he operates on that. And this is how so many people do. They wait till the very last minute to try and pull it off. So the process of change requires courage, number one. Rigorous honesty and courage come together as number one. Number two is acceptance. You accept that you have character defects, but you have to be able to look at them objectively. You have to be able to have a plan to be able to let go of cause and effect and why you do what you do. And then third, you have to be able to not only be consistent, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to look at these situations you're in and be willing to implement the skill sets that will allow you to change. So you can write goals down, you can have a vision, you can have clarity, you can have all that. But if you don't have a simple map of simple discipline daily, you're going to recreate the same situation to fulfill the same set of feelings. And then the reset button daily that very few people ever access is called gratitude. So gratitude comes from the Latin word gratia or gratis, and very few people practice gratitude daily. So I've complimented many people before, and because it's unfamiliar to them, they don't hear it. So they hear the words and they hear the sounds, but they don't hear the meaning. So a compliment goes over most people's head, and then they miss that compliment, which in the universe, if you're doing this, and this has a huge effect on who and what you attract. So that means you're going to continue to attract people who will violate you, traumatize you, who will abandon you, neglect you, and all these situations that many people hold on to. But if you practice gratitude daily, it's a reset button. So many people go, well, what is gratitude? Well, gratitude is exactly what it is. It's being full of gratitude. It's full. It's being able to have a full cup. Instead of looking at the dark side or looking at what's wrong, you look at what's right in front of you, and that's in the present. And then following gratitude is forgiveness. And forgiveness encompasses a lot, because if you're not operating in self-love, you can't love other people. You can't give love. You can't share love. So if you're highly critical, so what your left brain hears is you're going to attract people who will violate you, traumatize you, put you in a position to validate, justify, and explain yourself over and over. So, I mean, these 5 keys right here, once again, it's courage, acceptance, it's willingness, it's gratitude, and forgiveness. That's the foundation of that significant change that you seek to make in any calendar year. So it's January, people make resolutions on December 31st, January 1st, and here it is January 23rd, and most of the world is already behind. And they have they have a money goal, they're behind on that. They have a financial goal, emotional goal, and they're behind because they're not disciplined. Their emotional state is not regulated by the present, it's regulated by the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about this, Blaine. Why does willpower fail long term, and why does programming always win?
Well, willpower is force, so you can't will yourself to succeed. And this is why so many people, when they work out, they're doing exercise programs that they're forcing themselves to do it. They're deadlifting this, they're running marathons, and they're doing all these Herculean feats. Now, I'm a former top-tier athlete. I played 4 sports, 6 years in high school. I was an honorable mention all-state athlete in 2 different sports, 3rd team all-state in another sport. I played college basketball. My father was a Hall of Fame basketball coach. So you can't will yourself to win. You can't will yourself to shoot a 30-foot jump shot. It doesn't happen like that. You can sit there all day long and visualize the ball going in the hoop, and that is a component of it. But if you don't have the mechanism mastered, your emotional mechanism, where you're in a relaxed body, in force, what's going to happen? You're going to choke, and you're going to avoid, you're going to procrastinate, you're going to get ready. And that's where most people miss the mark, is they continue to live in force rather than power. Power is humility. When you're humble, you can't be humiliated. Power is your ability to not feel rejected or abandoned. And then in that level of power, you're living in a level of emotional autonomy where you're non-attached to the outcome. Now, that's not a contradiction. I mean, it's important that you commit to an outcome, but if you're attached to it, that is force. That's why you have to be able to easily and effortlessly let go in a relaxed body.
How does somebody shift when they feel stuck right now, and to be able to program themselves to perform in a relaxed body?
Well, the first situation you address in any level of force or stuckness, it's the energy of anxiety, fear, and doubt. And so the first situation you do is you accept where you are, which is, I'm going back to my recipe. If you don't accept where you are, then you just try and get more positive and Being positive is not the recipe to being successful or breaking or changing behavior. Being honest and then having a plan that you can execute, preparation, execution. So if you're stuck, you admit you're stuck. And then you, once again, it's important that you look at what you do daily, because if what you do daily is not conducive to creating results, then you're just going to continue to procrastinate and avoid. And so what many people do is they live in denial. They don't understand why they do what they do, and they keep recreating the same situation. And then they'll either try harder, they'll read a book. I mean, all these are important components. But once again, if you don't understand the mechanism of letting go, so if you're stuck, you're in force. If you're stuck, you're in anxiety, fear, and specifically doubt. And if you're stuck and you continue to stay stuck, you're going to recreate the same situation to fulfill the neurochemical craving of called the payoff. Now, this is now we've crossed the bridge. So if you don't understand your payoff, which you derive from being stuck, and even though it's not positive and it's not definitely not empowering, but if you don't understand why you keep doing what you're doing, then your unconscious, subconscious will continue to run your program. And that means you live in your left brain, your analytical left brain. You keep recreating the same situation over and over. So if you're not able to honestly look at this situation and then start the process of course correcting, you'll just keep doing the same situation. Now, the lower self ego talks like this. It goes, this doesn't make sense. I don't understand why I do this. I should be further along. And so the ego can't rest, because the ego worries about the future and regrets the past. And that's what keeps so many people stuck, is they're not able to break out of that duality, past, future, worry. And that's where they recreate the same situation over and over to feel the same feelings. So the recipe to change is a very simple one-day process. It's a one-day model. Can you go to bed tonight without drinking? Can you go to bed tonight without a snack or a treat? Can you go to bed and follow through on the commitments you made? Because if you can't, then all this long-term goal setting is irrelevant, because if you don't have a simple system to operate one day, then what you have is a wish. So you may have a dream, but if you don't have a system and a routine to operate your life in, then you'll just keep recreating the same situation and fulfill the same feelings. So many people rebel against their own success, not understanding that that's what they're actually doing to fulfill the neurochemical craving of being disappointed. I've been covering this for 28 years as a coach. I've coached over, just like you said, over 100,000 hours. It's actually around 12,000 clients. And so on a whiteboard, I've been teaching this for years. Addiction to disappointment leads to the payoff. And so disappointment, payoff. So it's challenging for most people to understand that they're addicted to disappointment. This is, they sabotage themselves. They recreate the same situations. They recreate the same relationships. They get a divorce, then they marry the same person over and over. They'll marry if you grow up in a narcissistic family, or you're an adult child of alcoholics, and you don't remedy the situation, and you and I have both been through this, we just keep recreating the same situation to fulfill the same feeling. It's a cardio cocktail, the high we get from the up and down riding the rail. And so the key to everything in life is letting go. It's the separation between the feelings and the events that shape them. And I must admit, I feel I'm one of the top experts in this. David Hawkins unequivocally was the master at writing books on letting go, and his book Letting Go, written in 2012, is a landmark. I mean, it's unequivocally some of the best content ever written. And I teach people the skill set of letting go, because if you don't master your emotions, you'll just keep recreating the same situation to fulfill the same set of feelings.
Explains a lot. Explains a lot of that people, go through these ups and downs and self-sabotage, and why motivation just fades and success feels inconsistent for people.
Well, there's 5 levels of trauma. So the number one trauma that we're under the veil of what's called trauma-based mind control. So this is the media. This is the food lobby. This is BlackRock. This is the agenda. I mean, this is what we're under. We're under the banking cabal. That's the Rothschild, Rockefeller. I mean, this is deep. I mean, that banking cabal we're under. I mean, so we end up we end up borrowing money that doesn't exist. We pay interest on it, which keeps most people slave to debt. You buy a house you can't afford, you buy a car you can't afford, then you're paying points on the spread. That keeps you overwhelmed. Then the storm that's about to happen in the United States. I mean, people are preparing for a storm that hasn't happened yet. I mean, once again, we're minions in this whole situation. That's trauma-based mind control. I mean, that's going to be your responsibility to leave the matrix, pull back the veil, seek the truth. But many people can't handle the truth because they're so addicted to their bad food. They're addicted to Netflix. They're addicted to their sodas and their carbonated beverages and the trans fat and semi-glutides and GLP-1s and all these other situations that they continue to perpetuate. So that's number one. Then the four main traumas you're going to encounter are physical, emotional, sexual, and generational. Now, any combination of these four traumas combined and unresolved, these traumas that the body holds on to, you'll continue to sabotage yourself over and over. And that's what so many people do. They just keep recreating the same situation.
How does you explained it, but if someone's kind of new to this, like how do they understand that these addictions and compulsive behaviors overlap with their business success?
Well, it takes a committed person. You can't, if you just continue to be in the lost soul club, you'll just wander around free enterprise, going from business to business, bouncing around shiny objects, waiting for the next big ticket internet marketing Ponzi program or the next network marketing direct sales company to come out with a breakthrough product. Or you'll jump into real estate and then you'll bounce over to insurance and then you'll go to the next latest, greatest Ponzi that looks shiny and sexy. And that's what so many people do. I mean, I've done it myself. I mean, I've been in the NFL club, no friends left, no funds left, and not for long. I went through back-to-back rock bottoms. And I mean, if you're like me and a black sheep lone wolf empath, rock bottom teaches you lessons, but you can only go through so many rock bottoms. I mean, rock bottom gives you wisdom, but rock bottom is a very lonely, overrated place to be. So if you're new to free enterprise, you're not obligated to fail. I mean, you're not obligated to hit rock bottom, but your responsibility, your ability to respond is to be able to master the skills, the habits, and the mindset of whatever vocation you have chosen to be able to live your freedom. But that also requires emotional discipline, and that requires letting go of instant gratification. So the ego wants instant gratification, and that's why people are addicts. That's why they have a snack. That's why they have a treat. That's why they have a cheat day. That's why they go to happy hour. That's why they watch Netflix and all the other situations, because they want something to distract them from their life. And so this is where so many people, their life is a series of soul-sucking events that rob them of their emotional etheric energy. I mean, this is why having a why is so important. If you don't have a reason, if you don't have a purpose, that's understandable, but that's your responsibility to be able to access that and find that in the very near present or future.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is exactly why people suppress what's really going on. And I know you have to go at the top of the hour, but how do you help people let go?
Well, I'm going to give you a little history. So, I mean, Jim Rohn was one of my favorites. He was one of my mentors. And so I dreamed of sharing the stage with Jim Rohn. So that happened for me. It was a miraculous event. That was on September 30th, 2000 in Los Angeles, California. Then I met his manager, Kyle Wilson, and I booked Jim Rohn on 4 different occasions. Now, Jim Rohn was awesome for me, but Jim Rohn was the best speaker I've ever seen. But my breakthroughs came by sharing the stage with John Assaraf and Dr. Joe Dispenza, because those two men introduced me to what's called the reticular activating system. Those two men introduced me to understanding what brain fog is, the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, the amygdala, the emotion, the engine that drives the almond-sized gland that drives your emotional search engine. I began studying the brain in the early 2000s. So I'd been a sales trainer and I'd taught people how to close sales. And I was a devotee of Tom Hopkins and Mark Victor Hansen. I shared the stage with Hansen over 20 times in my career. But John Assaraf introduced me to the brain. I shared the stage with him multiple times between 2000 and 2010. But I met Dispenza I first saw him in the movie What the Bleep. Then I booked him to speak at an event of mine in Los Angeles. You may have been there in that one of those very first events. And then I started studying that content. That led me to David Hawkins. And I've been a Hawkins devotee for the last 20 plus years. So if you're looking for someone who really understands the inner game of addiction, sabotage, cause and effect, why you do what you do. I mean, I can teach you technical know-how. I've been a 7-figure income earner in 2 businesses. I owned Golden Mastermind seminars for 28 years. And for 10 years prior to that, I bounced around the direct sales industry until the last 3 years of my career where I became a 7-figure income earner. But if you want someone to take you to the LOP, the land of promise, well, I can assist you to understand why you sabotage yourself, why you do what you do, and then give you a blueprint map on how to, in a 30-day, 90-day process, begin this process of recovery, sobriety, and higher consciousness. Because if you continue to stay in doubt, then your foot's on first base and you're not going to get off of it. And you're just going to keep sabotaging yourself, buying big ticket coaching, repeating the same situation over and over, and you're not going to get any traction. I mean, 2026 is either a nowhere year or a breakthrough year. And if you've been on the bubble for a number of years, you better commit to this being a breakthrough year, because time is short. I mean, the digital ID is out there. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of control to understand. You better BIB, be in business right now, and GIG, get in the game. So if you're serious and not curious, and you're open to a free 20-minute coaching session, and you're serious about at least talking to me about coaching, I offer free 20-minute coaching sessions. You can go directly to my website, goldenmastermind.com, and fill out a 20-minute survey, or you can call me directly. I put my phone number out there. I don't care. You can call me at 209-649-1562, 209-649-1562. Text me. Let me know you want to speak to me, and I'll arrange a relatively quick 20 to 30-minute strategy coaching session so you can determine if I'm the coach for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. You guys, if you want to go deeper at this work, go to goldenmastermind.com, learn more. He's my personal coach. I've known him since I was in my 20s. Now he's helped me tremendously shift. I've made major shifts in my life. So I highly recommend. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Let me endorse your service before we go.
Yeah.
Let me endorse your service.
Sure.
So I've known Stacia since 2008, and Stacia is my webmaster. Stacia builds my website. Stacia has spoken at my events, and I refer Stacia clients as she refers me clients. I'll tell you this: her customer service is like this. Her customer service is TT, top tier. I've hired many people online, and many people who build sales funnels, and they promise the moon, and they don't even give you a star. I mean, I'm like 6 figures into that whole routine with no results. So Stacia absolutely delivers, and I'm honored to be your coach and friend.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate you. And do love working with people who are amazing. And I also made many, many shifts in my life. Do the same thing for you. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Much love and
Have a great
aloha.
afternoon. Bye.